First off, I want to just thank our property appraiser, the Honorable Aisha Solomon, for and her team for what they do to put this together for our citizens. I think every time I come here, I learn something, but we've got a special property appraiser. She just does a wonderful job serving our community, and I represent John Power, our tax collector. He was unable to be here tonight. He's in training out of town, but he usually is here. But they're both public servants that they really do care about our citizens, and you all, if you're a citizen of Alachua County, you pay a lot of taxes, and so you should get service for that. So we're here to serve, and we're glad to do it. Um, I don't even have a clicker. Where'd the clicker go? There we go. Whew, I am challenged with these things. I'm telling you. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about tax deeds and properties that got sold um, in Alachua County. So we're looking at 2025. We sold about 50 properties for delinquent taxes. That's not a really high number of property. We've got about over 100,000 properties in Alachua County. Every year, about 6,000 properties go delinquent. We sell certificates on about six. We sell about 6,000 certificates, and then after 2 years from that point, properties get sold in only about 50. So our numbers are low, and that's good. Our goal is not to sell property. We're here to collect taxes and distribute those funds to the taxing authorities. So, but selling property does happen. So last year in 2025, we sold about 50 properties, but of those 50 properties, 20 of those were air properties. So it kind of gives you an idea of that's a high percentage of the properties sold are air properties. So 2 days ago, there was a property that went to a tax deed sale. I think there were about 8 owners, 8 or 10 owners. Some were deceased, some were alive. So it was a fractionated property, and the taxes were about $13,000. The property was worth about 150,000, probably really about $200,000. So it sold 2 days ago for $50,010 for taxes, and that's just sad that this family, probably several generations, who paid for that property, lived on that property, but because they didn't do estate planning, and that family lost that property. So that's what we don't want to happen, and that's why we're here, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. I think this is more for preventative than sometimes cleaning up air property is difficult. It's probably easier to prevent it on the front end, and that's what we're hoping to do. So anyway, let's go to the next slide. So let's see. So taxes are public information. So can you see if taxes are paid or unpaid on a property? And you can. So that is all public information. You can go on our website. You can call our office. If you ever have a question about, if you're concerned about the taxes on a property, whether it's your neighbor's property or, you can find that out. It's public information. How many air properties in Alachua County have delinquent taxes? So there's approximately over 1,600 air properties right now. There are currently about 343 of those have delinquent unpaid taxes. And then how long can taxes be unpaid before property is in danger of being sold? So that's 2 years from the date of delinquency. Lolly did a great job of explaining that. So once taxes go delinquent April 1st, you've got 2 years before the property um, can be sold. So that's a great thing in Florida. People don't just lose their property immediately. It does take time, and that gives people time to hopefully gather their funds and get the taxes paid. So we really try. We're sending out 1,500 letters this week to the 2023 unpaid properties with 2023 unpaid taxes, because those are the ones that are going to become eligible for to be sold. So we're trying to say, hey, by the end of March, please try to get these paid, and we get those down to a few hundred by then, hopefully. So let's see, keep moving. So this question gets asked a lot. If I just pay the taxes, can I own the property? Especially when it's air property, because you've got a lot of different owners, and you maybe only have a few people who want to pay the taxes. And some people say, "Well, I've been paying the taxes for 20 years." Well, that in itself doesn't give you the title to the property. So you cannot own the property by just paying the taxes. So to own the property by paying taxes, the way that happens is you have to let the property go to public auction. And once it goes to public auction, you have to be the high bidder. So that's how you can obtain property due to delinquent taxes. It is a valid way to obtain property, and it is a way to clear title, but it is risky if it's your property or if your family property. It goes to sale, it goes to public auction. You got to be the high bidder. You got to, the cash to do that, and so you risk losing the property in that case. How can I purchase the tax certificate on a property? So every year we sell tax certificates. So in 2025, the taxes became due in November. They become delinquent April 1st of 2026. By June 1, we sell a tax certificate, and we sell about $10 million worth of certificates every year. Those are the monies that's that money then can be distributed to all the taxing authorities, the school board, the counties, the cities, the water districts, and so on and so forth. So that's the reason we sell certificates. Then the people that buy those certificates, um, how can I be that, how do they become an owner of the property? So the people that buy those certificates have to hold them for 2 years, and then they can force the property to public auction. 22 months after the date of delinquency. So is when they can do that. So after your certificate is 22 months old, you can apply for the tax deed and force it to public auction. It costs about $1,000 in fees to do that. So if the taxes are, $3,000, you're gonna put up about another $1,000. So you've got about $4,000 invested in the property, and then it goes to public auction. And if you're the high bidder, you get the property. If you're not, you get your $4,000 back as the investor. So it's a pretty good way to invest money. Um, it's not a great way to try to make interest, and it's very competitive. That you don't make a lot buying certificates for interest. There are ways to do that, but it is a great way to acquire property if you want to invest in property, and if you want to buy property, this is a good process to do that. Um, but again, when you buy tax deeds, somebody's losing, and it might be a win for you, but it's a lose. It's somebody else is losing, and so our goal as the tax collector's office is to help our citizens not lose their property. But the law requires us to sell properties when taxes don't get paid, so we have to do that as well. Friends, right? Well, I don't know. Sometimes. All right. So November, we talked about this. November 1st is when taxes are due. April 1 is when they become delinquent. We sell the certificate June 1st. 2 years after that, properties can go to sale. So here's our phone number, 352 we're there. You can call us. You can email us. If you go on our website, which is alachuacollector.com, and there's a way to communicate through the website as well to us. We're here, to help you. If you're an investor, you're interested in buying tax certificates, or you're interested in acquiring a piece of property that has delinquent taxes, we can help guide you through that process as well. But our ultimate goal is to try to get the taxes paid, and so that the people don't lose their property. But somebody that's deceased can't pay their taxes, so a lot of the people, that's why the majority of our properties we do sell are heir properties. There's, the people who have just, there's nobody to pay the taxes. So those do end up going to sale. Thank you. I'll be around if you have any questions. I have some business cards and be glad to talk to you. Thank you.